We're live. We're fucking live, finally. YouTube never ceases to put me in the most stressful part of my week every time we start one of these shows. Apologies, everybody, for the delay. We are very live.
But man, what a show we have for you. I am John Pollock, joined by the relieved, waiting, and here for backup, Braden Harrington and Davey Butterscotch Portman here live at the post office. Welcome, guys.
Hello.
Hello, hello, hello.
Yeah. Wow. Wait, are you okay?
I'm okay.
Are you cool?
I'll be fine.
It takes him. We go live, and then it's like a buffer of like another 60 seconds to 2 minutes until he can fully take a deep breath and realize we're okay.
Glad
The
you guys
train
are
has
here.
left the station, and we're all right.
I compare myself to you. I'm a pretty chill person, I think. I like to think so. And you are too. So I know when it takes a lot to make me mad. I can see it in you. I'm very similar to you.
I'm usually at my most pissed off like during the entire week at about 3 o'clock on a Thursday.
Yep. All right.
And I just sit here very awkward because I can't help. I can't do anything. Like, I don't know way. I'm sorry. But here we are, live on the Café Hangout, everybody. Wow. Thank you so much for joining us. It's a special treat to have two in-studio guests. Strategically done, so Way would not have to deal with the potential of a guest on the phone that we may lose connection with. So unless either of these guys pass out, we will have no interrupted guests.
That could happen.
We will still have our phone lines open for any callers that want to call in a little bit later and maybe talk to all of us.
Yes, we will be taking calls later on in the show. Jot down the number 732-800-4423 or Skype in to Post Wrestling. We will be taking your calls if you have questions for Davey and Braden. All of us, whatever topics you want to discuss, everything is wide open. But first of all, the world of Patreon has expanded to include upNXT, patreon.com/upNXT. Braden Harrington, Davey Portman taking the world by storm.
Wow.
Congratulations, guys.
We did it, Mom. We did it.
We did it.
Wow. Yeah. Last night, NXT debuted on USA Network. So we thought
Second only to the bigger launch
on the
of YouTube.
Yes. Well, we strategically
Just lobbing that one to you, Braden, the take. What? Was there a show I missed?
What did I miss? Yeah, so we decided, hey, why not we kick it into gear and we debut something? So we decided, we heard the whispers from our listeners, and we love the support we got. We had people asking us for this whole past year, like, hey, when are you guys doing a Patreon? And we kind of felt like, hey, man, we're not there yet. We're not John and Way. We know our place. We're not there yet. We have a lot to learn. So with, I'd say about over a year and a half now, we kind of got comfortable.
I think really the response from our extra reviews, like our movie reviews and stuff, that we really enjoyed doing, stepping away from wrestling a bit and talking about some other stuff, and seeing that people are still interested in that, I think that gave us the confidence to think, hey, we could maybe do this Patreon thing. And we've been planning it for a while. We kind of wanted to try and launch around the time of our big event, and then we realized we were maybe trying
ahead of ourselves.
Yeah, trying to do a few too many things at the same time. And then when they announced the USA deal, we thought, when's a better time to launch this than then?
Yeah, so we pulled the trigger, and instantly the Post Wrestling family, the listeners of everyone who listens to us week to week, they came out in support for us already. Like, we have overwhelming support from people, and it's just crazy.
That's phenomenal.
So thank you, everyone, and thanks to anyone who's like, hey, I can't afford to listen to you guys, but I still want to. You still can listen to upNXT every Thursday. We're not going to charge you for it. Listen to us talk about NXT. But if you like us, well, then you can give me your money.
It seems like, with not just this move, but like your regular free podcast in general, you guys are kind of taking the next step up.
Yes.
You're expanding. I mean, NXT, of course, is going to be a 2-hour show now. What else are you guys going to add to the list?
Yeah, well, we decided, like, hey, we want to cover NXT. Like, I've been watching this NXT. I know way too much about NXT in my brain. Your brain can only hold so much information. Mine has a lot about NXT. So we decided to start a show that's on the Patreon called Was Next. And we basically go back in time to when NXT kind of really started. And I'm not talking about those competition stuff, because if the time comes, we might start a specific tier just to make us watch that, because I do not want to watch that show. But we're starting back when the era of NXT really started, before before even there was a champion. Dusty Rhodes was around as GM, stuff like that. And it's quite interesting because it's kind of a where are they now kind of game.
It's the look how their hair has changed
exactly.
podcast.
So that one's definitely
it's super
something.
interesting because we're going back 7 years to start in June 20th, 2012.
Yeah.
And a lot has changed. There's a lot of people who they seem like very high up on who pretty much disappeared now, and other people who are kind of just floating around the background who are big names now.
It's crazy. We watched one this week and it's like debuting next week, Seth Rollins. So we're like, okay, cool. I can't wait to watch it. So stuff like that. We want to do more movie reviews. We joke about doing Star Wars stuff. It's because people were like seemed interested in it, and when we put them out, we got like a lot of positive feedback. So we're going to continue our journey of Star Wars, but there's some Star Wars movies that aren't really in this series that don't really count, and I don't even want to watch them, but we're going to do those, and those are going to be part of the Patreon as well. This movie called Solo, Rogue One, and probably some other ones. Yeah, I fell asleep during Solo. I don't want to watch it.
I'm looking forward to Rogue One.
I'm not. I'm definitely not. So that'll make for a fun podcast. So yeah.
And for those not familiar, what are the levels that they can sign up for?
Oh yes, our tiers.
Sure. So we're taking championships to inspire us.
Yes.
So you can become a cruiserweight champion. And for $2.05,
Brilliant.
you can support us. This is just to say thank you. Throwing a donation our way. We'll give you a shout out on the show. Braden, do you want to take the next one?
we have a lot of people who are like, hey, you guys don't have a Patreon. I don't really want to buy your t-shirts. ProWrestlingTees.com/upNXT. I just want to help support you. What can I do? Can I send you money? I'm like, no, you're not just gonna like, what, you're gonna Venmo me some money? Like, come on, that's not how it works. We have people. A listener sent us his Sega Genesis because he tweeted a picture. I was like, wow, you have a Sega Genesis? He's like, yeah, you want it? So I'm like, okay, cool. So this is kind of just the one to like, if you want to help us out, throw us help us buy a coffee. Then this is how you can do it. You can tip your hat, and we'll send you a personal video message. We'll shout you on the show, like stuff like that. It's just the support kind of thing.
You are going to be select people's Johnny Gargano moment.
Yeah,
we will be. We'll send you a private video, and and then our second tier is the North American Championship tier. So that's our mid-carder, but the real workhorse, as we say.
Yeah, so this is the tier. You'll get those bonus shows.
Yes.
You'll get a personalized video message from us. You will be getting at least one bonus show a week. When something like Evolve is on. We will be doing Evolve for free this weekend.
Right.
But that's something that's probably going to move to our Patreon. If there's ever another Mae Young Classic or Cruiserweight Classic or those kind of tournaments that WWE put on the network, this will go to these guys, the North American champions.
Yeah, this is where you will get a lot of extra content from us. This is the step you got to take to help us, throw us a bone, and we will create content for you. And a lot of our cool stuff, our new shows, this is where you'll get that with that $5 for the North American Championship tier. But if you want to take it to the next level and you need to be the main event, you can do the NXT World Championship tier. And that kind of started off as us just saying, let's just throw this at the wall and see what sticks. Apparently it sticks because for $25, you get everything we just mentioned, but you also get a selective, an exclusive show, if you will, once a month. Kind of a behind the scenes of the BDE or like wrap up show.
Which you guys just put the first one up, correct?
Yes,
exactly. So we put up to everyone, including the 205.
Even the $2 guys get the first one for free there just because we thought we'd get out.
They're the kind of shows we're going to do that's exclusive, not reviewing anything, just us chatting for an hour, talking about how the month has gone with Patreon and
Braden's relationship with chicken wings.
Pretty much, yes.
Stuff like that.
I did actual prep for this show.
Great. So then as well, because you love and support us so much, we love and support you. So we're gonna send you a picture of us signed by both of us.
That's wonderful.
That's something we want to send to
get your frames ready to put this on your wall.
So with that, we want to create more stuff. We have goals as well. By the time this is out, or by the time you listen to this, our goals are probably already have been reached or been broken.
Well, our first goal, I think we're very close to, which will, our first goal will enable us to do more of the YouTube stuff.
We went live after Takeover.
Way's like, good luck with that.
All the patrons in the world won't help with this terrible software.
We went live on YouTube on our YouTube channel, and it worked for us, and we realized some people like that, so we might try to do more of that once we've reached this goal. And then once we reach, I believe, 100 Patreons, we're gonna like legit have always 2 extra bonus shows a week, maybe even more. Like continue the extra bonus stuff.
We're both changing our schedules.
Yeah, we now like realized if people are willing to help support us, then we have to change and adjust some things, and like we have jobs, you know. Yeah. So millennials got to pay bills. So you guys are helping us. We just wanted to do this to help cover our internet. That's what I keep saying.
Yeah, Brandon and Davey have specifically went to their jobs to specifically ask for Wednesday nights and Thursdays off. So
I have done that.
Dedicated to
podcasting. Yeah, we have dedicated that to this.
And to be honest, it has sucked the last few weeks because we both work jobs where I work in a bar. I'm often getting home at about 4 a.m. on Wednesday night, Thursday morning. You're working a job where you're sometimes working 6:30 p.m. to 6:30 a.m.
Yeah.
And then somehow we've got to find an hour, now 2 hours, to watch NXT and then talk about it and be kind of not in a tired mood when recording, because that isn't entertaining to listen to.
Yeah, so now we've taken like the next step in like our lives, really, where we were like, okay, cool, let's take Thursdays completely off, and Wednesday nights we can have it off and watch NXT. So yeah,
awesome.
No, it's fantastic. Like, you guys have worked so hard, and I think that's really reflective of the listeners that have seen what you guys have put into this. That this is something that you felt was just taking the next step, and people have followed you to for years at this point. So
yeah,
obviously we wish you all the best, and of course, upNXT will still be available. Late Wednesday night, early Thursdays, roughly, up at postwrestling.com, and you can subscribe to upNXT, which is your free feed for people that maybe are just sampling you and finding out about NXT.
That's cool too.
And that will always be free.
Yeah, that's always cool. Yeah,
that will always be the same.
Yeah, hey, listen, even $2 is asking a lot from you. If you just want to listen to us week to week, hey, go for it. Go follow our new Twitter at upNXT Podcast. That's how you can help support us as well. But yeah, so we're really proud of kind of what we've come, but we're literally like following in your footsteps, essentially. Like what you guys have done is like, man, this is like what we want to like aspire to do. But NXT has been this really like weird niche thing. It still kind of is, but that bubble is getting bigger and bigger, and we kind of want to be like a little ahead of the game, and well, clearly we kind of were. So I'm looking forward to seeing, once NXT gets bigger, we'll get bigger, and that's pretty cool.
Yeah, and there's definite, like with the Twitter, there are free ways you can support us as well, just by give us a rating on iTunes, subscribe, those kind of things. I think we are going to start seeing a lot more NXT podcasts pop up, and we've been doing this a while, and we want to be those guys. We've got our foot in that niche already, and we want to stay there. So you can support us so many ways. Tweet out our Twitter, that kind of thing will really help us.
Yeah.
So let's dive into a bit. You guys did do a review of Wednesday Night Show. We've all had a chance to see it now. The day after, what did you think about this as a first-time effort specifically aimed at potentially new viewers of the show, and the good and the bad of the 2-hour presentation? How did you feel it goes? Well, let's start with you, Braden.
Yeah, the first hour was just insane. The show starts off with Triple H. Any wrestling fan, even some casual fans, know who this guy is. He does his classic whisper thing, and then comes in there, throws to Mauro Ranallo. He sets the show right off, and then what do you know? Io Shirai starts off the show. My favorite character in wrestling right now. Literally, she's captive. Like, she grabs the audience, and that was the first person you get to see come out for their debut as in a match. It was perfect.
I thought it was a great start with the 4-way. It was a hot match with the 4 women, and you know, for all the talk about will Full Sail be a positive or negative long term, like that was a tremendous crowd of 400 that sounded significantly more. Ultimately, the question is going to be: is this going to be a lot of regulars coming back every week, and are you going to be able to replicate this energy? But week 1, I thought the crowd was a big positive on this show.
Yeah, I think anyone tuning in for the first time would have seen this and go, what is this? This seems like something I should be watching. This is very hot. Like, the crowd were buzzing. I had goosebumps so many times throughout that first episode, the first hour, just because it seemed like it was taking that big step forward.
It's weird. Yeah, we watch the show week to week. Not every wrestling fan watches this show because sometimes NXT isn't that great. Like it's just a 1 hour thing that a lot of wrestling fans, like my friends, like don't watch unless they literally hear me say, "Go watch this match," and then they do, and they're like, "Wow!" But they don't know they don't know who Nikos Rikos is. They don't know all this stuff. So to see kind of it get this like push, this like weird, it's like it was still WWE, but it's like when your like band that you like isn't super popular, but then they finally got that one hit and you're like, oh man, like I was with that band before they did, that track, and now it's like you're watching it kind of get there, and it's just really cool. So the full first hour felt like a mini takeover almost. It had two main matches, like the middle one didn't really count to me.
But even
still,
that was
very smart. This guy Cameron Grimes, I'm a big fan of him since the Indies, and like seeing him kind of get that spot where he just squashes a guy in 3 seconds on TV instantly makes him look like he's some sort of a big deal or something. So I don't know. I thought the whole first hour was like takeover quality, definitely.
Wait, what did you think about the show, the 2 hours and increasing it to that? Like, how did you feel about the pacing? And because I'm of the belief that I think this is going to turn into a show where like it's 2 hours is a lot. It's a lot to ask of people. I thought it was a really good presentation on night one, though.
I thought it was really good. I thought peppering in, I think a bunch of jobber matches that really don't go that long, I think is perfect. But you also kind of stack it with things that you do want to see, like on a takeover level. And a big angle, I think, to close the show as well. I thought it moved along pretty well.
I enjoyed the angle at the end a lot. I think the biggest complaint I've seen and was consistent was just the disaster on the WWE network for those trying to log in. And I don't know
affected.
I don't know how widespread it was, but I saw so many issues. We're lucky in Canada because we do have if you subscribe to the network, you get it as an actual channel. And that's what I had to do because I could not log in online to watch this. But not many people have that option. And I would say being in Canada, I thought the first hour would be a lot harder to watch than the second hour, and it was vice versa. So
that doesn't happen ever. Right?
I've never had an issue with the WWE Network logging into it online.
That NXT,
I can't remember. Like, it tells you, on one sense, you would think that correlates to there were a lot of people trying to log in, but man, we've seen big pay-per-views where they have not had this issue.
It's not going to be WrestleMania level of eyes on the network.
Even with this change over to Endeavor streaming, like that happened before SummerSlam, and SummerSlam had its problems, but I didn't see people that couldn't even get on to the network.
We had issues during SummerSlam as well. Just because we watched it on a bit of a delay and we were trying to watch from the beginning and it just kept skipping forward and back.
Oh, you mean Clash?
Clash. Sorry, Clash of Champions.
Okay.
So yeah, it hasn't been.
We
good,
thought it.
new move.
We thought the network was like just our thing because it signed you out. What a weird. Yeah.
No matter the case, though, it's not going to last beyond another week, right? So
it's 2 weeks of this format, and then it's exclusively on USA Network. But you are going to be. I think you're going to have a lot of international viewers that are going to be going alternative means because they want to watch this live. I mean, I think it's part of our job, so it's like that's my option that I have to do. I don't really feel guilty about it as a network subscriber that doesn't have access to the USA Network.
Do you guys feel like they did enough to push towards that October 2nd show? Do you consider that a priority for them right now?
No, I think like they didn't. They announced a match, right?
We've got Shayna Baszler and Candice LeRae announced, and then next week it's the rematch with Riddle and Dane and Keith Lee, Dominic Dijakovic.
I like they're still doing that because they've always every week they're booking for next week and the week after. And I hope that's something that NXT keeps.
I miss that in wrestling. Like you need to hook me. You need to make me watch. Like maybe that's a reason why WWE sometimes like their ratings drop because you're not telling me. They're like, "Okay, cool. We know you're gonna watch anyways. We're not gonna tell you what you're gonna get." No, you probably should. You should tell me that there is an NXT Women's Title match in 2 weeks because now I'm like, oh, that's gonna be interesting. That's gonna be good. I think the October 2nd show is gonna be bananas. It's Triple H. He's gonna do some next stuff. He's gonna pull out everything he can because he's that guy.
that is what everyone expects. But I would say just for this 2 hour window, I don't think they did enough to push October 2nd. That is way more important than next week. That is the big 2 hour debut and going head to head. So I think that next week they have to construct like a major card for the following week to grab people.
I mean, we could expect, I think, some names as we maybe saw today. Do you guys expect Walter Kushida to
I would definitely do that on October 2nd.
Oh my goodness, take my money, USA Network. Yeah, they teased me with some of the stuff they did last night on the first the second hour, right, on the network. I think the October 2nd show is just going to be bananas. Like, actually, like, I think they're going to just go crazy.
Davey, what do you feel about in hindsight now, deciding to launch September 18th, getting a 2-week jump on AEW versus going into October 2nd and somewhat sharing the spotlight with AEW? Do you think it was a wise move to do it 2 weeks ahead of time, or does AEW kind of benefit, like they're going to have all the curiosity that week?
I think it was a good move, because I think people that they're trying to get people who maybe are lapsed fans who don't really know what's been going on, might not have even heard of AEW, people flicking through. And if they flick onto USA Network, which is a big channel, and they saw last night, that's beneficial that they've got that jump. The smart fans who are wrestling fans and are going to watch everything are going to watch both. It doesn't really matter. Okay, for immediate ratings, October 2nd, they might pick AEW because it's the first one. But if you're bringing in brand new viewers, NXT has the jump.
Do you think that both sides are going to kind of get into that mentality of having to win the week? Or do you feel that it's a bigger game versus a week-to-week rating?
No, I feel like again, I'm going to say like Triple H, but I don't think it's just him. I feel like that's just a mentality. Like, if you think like, if I were to be one of like these wrestlers and you think like that, then I mean, cool, like the competition and stuff, but I think they're just like kind of tunnel vision. Like, look, we have this, both spectrum, like the AEW guys and these guys are like, look, this is my career. This is me. I don't give an F about anyone else because I got to focus. Of course, there's competition and we want to put out the good show. But I will say that NXT kind of getting this like 2 week, whatever, it's like getting the jump on AEW. It's almost like, cool, yeah, that's cool. You guys are going to be October 2nd. Well, we're debuting before you and we're going to have like the buzz before you on Wednesday night. We're going to like beat you to it, essentially, is how I kind of now see it.
I think it's going to be a mentality that they're going to thrive on. I don't think it's do or die like it was when it was WWE, WCW. Right. But I think most of the wrestlers now watched the wars. Of course, they were fans during then. And I think they're excited about this head-to-head. Mm-hmm. And they're going to be more... I don't think they're going to care as much about ratings, but they still want to put on the better show.
I think you want to put on better matches.
That internet buzz, their GIFs going around, those ratings, that kind of thing. Yeah, they want to kill it every week. Yeah. And I think that's a very healthy mentality and is going to make for some wicked TV.
I love everything AEW's been doing. Every time I even try to tell myself, like, oh, I'm not even interested in watching that card that has come. And then, like, I wait a few days and maybe I wasn't spoiled or whatever. And then I put it on. And I'm like, oh, that was good. I really liked it. So that they keep keeping me. But I will say, like, we do an NXT podcast. So I will be watching NXT over AEW every Wednesday night. But I'll still be checking it out. So
how did you guys feel about the integration of, NXT UK and 205 Live as sort of like this kind of like shared universe of like, the Paul Levesque universe?
I like it. It's crazy. He did this thing where he mentioned... it's like Disney. They own Star Wars and they own Marvel and they own all things. Okay, but in Disney, Disney doesn't have Spider-Man showing up in Star Wars. This can happen here.
Well, I mean, come on. They have Spider-Man showing up in Captain America, which is I think more of a apt comparison.
Right. So like, yeah, you're right. So like Walter and Kushida is more so like the MCU coming together. It's like weird, different little things. But if it were to be like Walter and I don't know, like
Spider-Man,
yeah, it would be out there. I just think it's cool. It is cool. It's like he has this access to these toys and it's like, okay, I'm gonna put this guy, and it's like Smash Brothers. It's like, okay, I'm gonna be the giant hand here and pick this guy and this guy. I couldn't tell you I had any interest. I would never have pitted Kushida and Walter to be in a segment, let alone an upcoming match.
But if they're smart, they should use it to build up NXT UK. Like I remember when I used to watch Buffy and Angel, and there were people that would only watch one. Oh, I only watch Buffy. I don't watch Angel. And then every now and then they do an episode which the story will continue over on Angel. So if you watch the next episode of Buffy, you're not going to know what happened in that story. And I think you could do that with these NXT UK characters. Have them start this Walter Kushida thing on NXT regular.
Yeah.
But you need to tune into NXT UK on the network as well to see the follow-up.
Yeah, I think so too. I think it would... It's just cool. Again, Papa Triple H picking up the toys and being like, all right, now I'm going to do this.
We're going to open up the phone line, so if you guys want to speak to any of us about NXT or anything else going on in professional wrestling this week, you can call us on Skype by searching for Post Wrestling or dial us up on the phone 1732-800-4423. Long distance charges may apply. How do you guys think this will, affect the popularity of 205 Live or NXT UK, and what changes do you see for those shows, if any?
Well, I mean, already having Walter show up in that angle, two different angles, kind of twice last night. I think that already gives a rub to NXT UK because people are gonna be like, "Whoa, wait, those guys are from that show? Okay, cool, I better check that out." And then they do, like, instantly that attracts people. But as for 205 Live, I feel like it's being integrated. 205 no more.
Well, we certainly got the setup with Leo Rush returning, winning the number one contenders match, and I would guess that Drew Gulak defending the title against Leo Rush could be something on October 2nd as well.
Yeah, definitely. There's another big matchup there. Like, something that, some casual fans wouldn't know who either of those two guys are, but once you have your eyeballs to that match, I'm sure it will knock it out the park.
First phone call, I believe Hansi's on the line. Hansi, what's up?
Hey, what's going on, guys? First of all, Davey and Braden, congratulations on the Patreon.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, and listen, I'm tight for money, so I'll definitely eventually get on the Patreon.
No sweat.
But I'm really glad because I'm really glad with the sellout you guys had in the summer, man. You guys are one of my favorite podcasts, so I'm glad that you guys are doing your thing, man. So all the power to you. Yeah. I just want to say that I thought NXT was really, really, really good. I dug most of the matches. I may be a little bit indifferent. I understand what they're doing with the last segment when everyone was brawling. I just thought I've seen too many of these in wrestling, but I guess they wanted to start off with a bang, so I didn't really mind it. But it wasn't like the perfect. For me, it wasn't really the perfect way. But I'll be quick and just ask you guys this: with the Undisputed Era having all the titles, would you guys, for the next takeover, would you guys be into if they did a War Games where all the titles are defended in that War Games, or do you think they should just they should just keep that separate and have different people in the War Games match? Because it looks like maybe Imperium are going to be a part of that War Games match with the Invasion. That's why I assumed.
Yeah, we were talking about it the first review of this show we did last night. I joked about that. I said, "Ooh, that means the prophecy has finally come true. We've been talking about this prophecy, and then finally they have all the titles, and we know War Games is this thing that's coming up. So wouldn't it be cool if they defended everything? Would you want to see that? I don't know. It's a lot of titles.
I mean, Undisputed Era are known for War Games. They've been in the two NXT War Games match, and I think now you have the Cruiserweight and NXT UK title that could be defended on the undercard. You don't have to worry about filling out those other slots. So I think it would be a good idea.
Yeah, as long as someone needs to do a double moonsault again in the War Games.
Do you have to at that point then, Undisputed Era? I mean, getting jumped by Imperium inherently make them the baby faces in that kind of a program. Is that a direction have they done enough now on the heel side that doing kind of this invasion they become the de facto baby faces?
Yeah, imagine a baby face Undisputed Era. What a world.
I think they're popular enough that they can be the baby faces for that show and then go right into being...
They're like the jockey kids.
Especially they'll be representing NXT, proper, right? Against sort of the foreign invaders. So.
Which you can do, and I don't even think you need to necessarily put the titles at stake there. You could do, I think the novelty of the 4-on-4, it'd be an excellent match, and coming out of it, you could certainly tease a Walter Adam Cole program coming out of that with the two champions. There's a lot of options on the table with going that direction, which we'll see to the extent that your Imperium are regulars, or if this is just kind of getting them some shine on NXT, and then they'll be primarily NXT UK.
Yeah, I would like to see more integration. I'm a big fan of Walter, obviously. I like Imperium. It's kind of I don't want to say a ripoff of what he was doing on the indies with his, is it Ring Camp?
Yeah, Ring Camp.
Yeah, and it's it's going in the right direction, and I think this was kind of the push that they kind of need to be shown. If you watch NXT UK, then you know them, but if you don't, then you really might not even know who the other people are.
And I think Fabian Eichner and Marcel Bartel are a very
underrated,
exciting tag team, which I want to see more of. So
we had them in NXT.
I know.
And then they were stolen from us to the UK. Yeah.
Let's go to our next phone call from B Detroit. What's up?
What up, though, guys?
Yo, what's going on in Detroit? The 313.
Hey, it's good. It's good. I just want to say congratulations to the BDE.
Hey, thank you so much.
I've been down since day one. One thing I did want to say, I don't know if anybody else caught last night. Suits is running a commercial, and they're running a wrongful
termination lawsuit. I totally noticed this. Shane and Owens have taken the Suits angle.
I kind of want to watch that just to see who ends up better.
It's a great. I don't know if I would probably be leaning towards the Suits version, but we have not seen Owens and Shane McMahon play out. How do you see this ultimately climaxing with Owens and Shane?
Owens is. I just hope Shane's off my TV. I don't really care what happens. Just get Shane off the TV. Make him do a big dive through something. Get rid of him.
I think that's a good blow off to have for the Fox special that they seem to be teasing, and I can see being set up for that show.
I mean, we could bring back the fist and let him jump off of it. I don't know.
That will differentiate.
Okay, so guys, I got my dad to watch NXT. He never watched it. He's late 50s guy. Within the first commercial, he's calling me losing his mind.
Oh, wait, so you weren't with him. You made him watch it like while he was at home somewhere. Okay, and then he what?
Yeah, he loves wrestling, yeah.
Okay,
so he's like, all right, I'll check it out.
So he's never seen NXT.
Losing his mind when he first seen his chicks, man. He couldn't believe Io Shirai.
Not Io Shirai, right?
Yeah, he could not believe it. He never seen a woman do springboards before. I talked to him this morning. That's all he was talking about. So they really have somebody locked in. He's ready for AEW too. I kind of want to do a watch along with him and just do a reaction video.
There you go. Dads love Io Shirai. Io Shirai
do.
For everyone. That's amazing. I'm happy that it was that first women's match that really got your dad being like, what is this? I didn't know they could do that. Yeah, that's pretty awesome.
That's right. Well, I'm going to let you guys go, man. I just want to say congratulations on everything, and I do plan on signing up. I want to go over some 90s terrible TV shows with you guys one day.
Oh, perfect, dude. Hit us up. Thank you so much. We appreciate that. We'll definitely, we'll definitely check it out.
Thanks very much for the call. Yeah, no, I go back to, I think that was such a great choice to put the four-way in that opening slot. I also want to mention, I think one of the stars of that show was Roderick Strong for me. He was awesome in that match with Velveteen Dream. I think that Roderick Strong, he just had a phenomenal match with Velveteen Dream. Of the people that we're seeing showcased right now, do you think that there should be a freeze on any call-ups, or are you expecting a few to be entered into the draft and end up on Raw and SmackDown, which... I mean, the names like, if a Shayna Baszler were to lose the title, I think that'll fuel speculation that week that maybe she ends up in the draft, or just anyone else that maybe you feel is ready to move up, or conversely, move over from Raw and SmackDown to NXT.
Yeah, the whole call-up thing it kind of changes now. They say that it's going to be changed. It's not going to be like the old way. So I don't know. They're literally the one person I do think should be called up, and not just because I think they're done in NXT is what you just said, Shayna Baszler. I think it is time for Shayna to kind of move on. I don't know what else there is for.
I really feel it's the other horsewomen that are keeping her there.
They will be lost
because Shayna's been ready for a long time, and I can't see beyond this Candice match where else she can really go. I think
it's time for Candice to win the title myself.
Yes, of course.
I agree, and I think Shayna could be used really well on the main roster. I think it's time to freshen up that women's division a bit.
It will be freshened.
I just feel the other two who are not ready at all to move up, I can see them getting lost without Shayna.
Now we're going to live in a world where you get, and you shouldn't call it a call down, but where you get, again, the weird thing where they bring in other superstars and stuff. But I don't want Johnny Gargano leaving NXT. Right. I don't want Roderick Strong leaving NXT, and I don't think they will. These are the guys that, sure, they are not. Vince McMahon wouldn't pick them out.
He's got to go for the world title soon.
Yeah, I think a program with Adam Cole.
Taken the North American off of him.
Adam Cole costed him this title.
Yeah,
he got to go for that main.
Yeah, they do have that angle coming up.
I think that's the story. But yeah, I don't want to see him move up until he's had that run at the top.
Yeah, definitely. I kind of think he still has some stuff to do here in NXT.
Let's go to our next call.
Hey, how are you?
Oh, my God.
This is the world-famous Nunavut export, Brandon. How are you, Brandon? Oh, God.
I'm better than Premier Trudeau. How are you guys?
Pierre Trudeau is no longer with us. His son, Justin Trudeau, the Prime Minister of Canada, is in the midst of a lot of damage control.
He's got some mud on his face.
Oh God. Oh. Oh man, I loved the show last night. It was awesome. I really enjoyed it.
Up next?
Approach.
You liked our Up Next, right?
Yeah, you're talking about the
Oh,
podcast.
absolutely, 100%. I listened to it at work last night. It was great.
Excellent.
Good shit, man. Good shit.
I like to hear that.
Congratulations, by the way.
Thank you.
Congratulations. I'm ride or die, man. Ride or die to the end.
Appreciate
you guys
that.
aren't a part of the. You guys aren't part of the Nitrate Bloods, though, right?
Well, I got an Illuminati tattoo, so I can't really talk about that right now.
And I have no idea what you're asking.
Yeah, I really don't know.
Question real quick, and I'll get out of here because I don't want to hold your time up because apparently I monopolized time. But
No, you.
the Candice, the whole the Candice LeRae thing. You think she's the right choice for the next women's title holder?
Yeah, let me answer this. Okay, so listen. We need to get the title off Shayna so that we can give the title to Io Shirai. How do you think we do that, Candice LeRae?
Is that gonna But if that match happens, is that gonna be Takeover, or do you think it's gonna be?
Yes.
On TV.
Candice and Io, the rematch?
That'll be the rematch at the Takeover. Definitely.
Because I mean, you want to put a stranglehold on AEW, so. Nah, you want to say that for a Takeover. I agree.
What do you think, Brandon? Because, like, again, I want to see kind of the proof will be in the pudding. Like, in theory, if there's no AEW, you can extend a lot of these programs out, build to your takeovers. But I think there will be that, as much as whatever they'll say, there will be that pressure week to week that do we want to hold off on something till takeover versus build it up for a week or two and put it on television. Like, that's an easy trap to fall into in this system. And that goes for both companies.
Yeah, I mean that's a conundrum right there.
Nice
you don't
word.
Burn, you don't. Well, excuse me.
I like your use of the word conundrum.
Oh well, I was an English major in college, John.
Get out.
But
really?
Oh, no doubt.
I feel like it came with a laugh track at the end of it.
No, I'm legit.
Okay.
I got my.
I was trying to give you a compliment, Brandon, and you're being very paranoid that I'm not. But I was trying to give you an honest to God compliment.
How would you?
Jesus Christ.
Who is this?
Anyway, I'm trying to be.
I didn't know I was so funny.
It's funnier with other people listening to us, and not just me and John.
Yeah, I hope that you don't want to burn the fans out on TV. I mean, or you don't want to save it and miss out on something on TV and get a big rating.
Well, what would you do, Brandon, if you October 2nd, what would you book to go against AEW?
Well, you got Walter and whatchamacallit, right?
Cushy?
Yeah, and Kushida.
There we go.
So that's a start, right?
There we go. Would you choose
That's a start,
that over AEW?
I'm not going to DVR. I'm not supposed to. Yeah, I would put it on TV though. I would put that on TV against in week 3, the show I'll be at. But yeah, I'm down with that.
Which show are you going to?
I'm going to the Philly one. I'll be a hard camera side.
Okay. Are you going to call in the next day?
Do you want me to?
Absolutely.
I got some post gear too, so I'll be showing some love.
All right, you spread the word. Thank you as always, Brandon. It's always great to make sure you are
Thank you.
out there in the world.
Thank you, Brandon.
Stay out of trouble. Goodbye.
All right.
Who was that? Did I meet that guy?
Our most famous caller, Brandon from New Jersey.
I have a selfie with him. I know he doesn't like posting pictures of his face, but I have a selfie with him, so I'm waiting on it. So I got it stored. It's saved. It's ready to go.
Oh, wow. Look at that. What a tease from Braden Harrington. Just flipping over, AEW did announce today the confirmation. It will be AEW, All Elite Wrestling Dynamite. On Wednesday nights. I am envisioning like AC/DC promos, TNT.
Yeah,
right.
That's their best
It's a little
song.
easy, don't you think?
Well,
I mean, when this was initially rumored, when those trademarks all came out,
Yeah.
I don't know if it was met with the best reaction, and yet all these months later, they've continued with it. So.
I don't think names really matter. Could you imagine if WWE was starting a show today and they announced we're going to call it Raw? I think that would be met with. I think every name gets criticized.
Raw sounds so cool, though.
I don't know. Names are
always
just
thought
something I don't really get all that bent out of shape over. But
Yeah,
as evidenced by our shows.
Yeah, true. Yeah, what would you call what would you call your AEW Dynamite review?
AEW fully cooked.
Okay. Yeah, why not?
Dynamite. I don't care. You're right. It doesn't matter. Like, you call it Revolution. I don't care.
Our next phone call. You're on the line. What's up?
Hey, it's Paul from New Jersey.
Hey, Paul.
Hey, tough act to follow, but first off and foremost, I wanted to say, kind of like following a wrestler, through the indies at NXT and up to, the main roster and like accomplishing great things. It's cool to be, to watch you guys' podcast kind of rise to the occasion and evolve. So definitely big congrats to all four of you, but especially Brandon and David. It's been awesome.
Brandon, Brandon, don't you dare call me Brandon. Thank you, thank you, dude. Thank you, man.
There's only one Brandon in this world.
You know what I'm saying? It's still in my head. I'm sorry.
Thank you very much. We appreciate that. Yeah, I mean, if you've been listening to us or me for the past few years, you're kind of right, I guess. I mean, you probably listened to me not get very better at this. Yeah, so thank you very much.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I just had a comment and a question. It was to kind of piggyback off one of the callers, B from Detroit, said, like, it was interesting because I was catching up with an old friend and we were going to watch NXT, and his girlfriend and two of her friends who are also female were there. And they don't hate wrestling by any means, but, they'll ask questions occasionally, but they'll usually get up and do something else, and when that first match hit, they all dropped what they were doing. And we're watching it like I've never seen. What is this that you're watching?
Yeah.
And like we're texting me today, so I'm like, man, like what a grasp this product has on with people who you would not think wrestling fans. So I think that's really awesome. And I apologize in advance for reliving this, but I'll preface this by saying, like, I understand, like, when you write like 5 hours of content a week, not every idea is going to work. Not every idea is going to be great. But with the gender reveal, like, how does something like that get on television? And I imagine when you write a storyline, kind of like the thought process is, okay, who do we want to benefit from this? And I just cannot figure out who is supposed to benefit from that. So
the viewer.
That's just my question.
Oh God! Like I expect maybe years from now we'll like have some like former WWE writer on a podcast talk about this very elaborate plan of what this baby reveal and this Maria Kanellis story was supposed to be.
Oh my God.
It was supposed to be brilliant. It would have been a real Emmy contender. But as always, like these things get changed very last minute and they get filtered through the mind of a 7-year-old brain in a 70-something-year-old man. So, and I think often you end up with this. I can't explain why that ever made it on TV.
I bet though that segment had more clicks on YouTube than most of the rest of the show.
Yeah, true. Probably.
Is it worth it though?
No, not worth it. I mean, I don't know. I don't know if you know, but I'm a resident Maria Kanellis fanboy.
I do know that.
Yeah,
yes.
I have met her many times. She's lovely. She's one of my favorites.
Were you invited to the wedding, or was your friend that was invited to the
Okay,
wedding?
Are you the father, Brady?
So we used to go to all the Ring of Honor shows when Bennett was around there, when she was in the Kingdom with them, and me and my friend Shane is in a wheelchair, and they were like super cool to him, and they like came up to us and started talking to him and stuff like that. We went to a different Ring of Honor show, but they had started connecting with him online. So he brought some of his like merchandise that my buddy sells for like inspirational clothing and stuff, and they wore it like to the ring, I believe, actually. So we were like, wow, like what nice people like these guys were. So we just like kept talking to them, and I was a big fan of Maria from WWE, but I was becoming a fan of Bennett. And then one day they're like, hey, what's your address? And we're like, okay. And then he got the invitation in the mail, and they're like, yeah, like you two should come to Chicago. And we're like, so he was like, hey, are we doing it?
I told you to go.
Yeah, John was like, hey, you need to go. And I was like,
I want to report on the website.
I was like, I don't know about this. I kind of felt uncomfortable. It's like, I don't know. Also, like, imagine getting invited to your first love's wedding, and it wasn't to you. It's just going to be really awkward for everything. So I didn't want to have my graduate moment and interrupt. So I didn't go. But I made David watch that segment from this week just the other day on YouTube. We loved it. It was so fantastic.
In a vacuum where you don't have to watch the rest of the show, I'm sure you would get some pleasure out of it.
But to touch on what he said about look at the other thing. I have a friend. She knows I'm obsessed with wrestling. She does not understand it at all. During the Mae Young Classic last year, we were doing a podcast for it, so I had to watch it. And I'm like, hey, I hope you don't mind. You can go to sleep, but I need to watch this 1 hour of women's wrestling. And she was like, what? Like, so weird. She's kind of like laughing at me. I turned it on. She was instantly like, what? Women do this? Like, what? I thought when I watched wrestling, it was all like, they're like the side pieces and the managers. Just like Maria on Raw this week, making this like, so look, you have one show kind of like really fucking stupid. And it's showing like that's really sad and dumb. And then you have 4 women like stealing the show maybe, and it's just like so drastic. It's crazy. So like, yeah, your friends who don't watch wrestling, it's like they're like, wow, like women are taking over essentially in this, and it's really cool. So I understand that completely, and it's really cool when I get like friends to watch it and they love it. So yeah.
Anything else, Paul?
For sure. No, that's all I had. Maria and Mike sound like really nice people. I hope they get booked better by their bosses. But yeah, that's all I had. Congrats, guys. Take care.
Thanks so much, Paul, for the call. Before we wrap, I did want to look at some of the cards this weekend. Davey, you're going to be taking in both Evolve cards. Is that the plan? Technology prevailing?
That is the plan, as long as I can get on WWN network.
Oh man, yeah, you've been having
this
some
time,
issues.
yeah. So Jesse from the Six is going to come over and watch the show with me on Friday and also on Saturday, and we'll talk about both shows in a Saturday night show on our feed.
I guess the big involvement is Cassius Ohno is going to be on these cards as well, and
Cassius Ohno versus Walter.
That'll be on the second night, and I think that should be really entertaining. So just we don't have to go through everything here. There's going to be a bunch of appearances, meet and greets from some of the NXT talent. But then we've got the first night, Walter non-title match actually. Walter, JD Drake, Austin Theory defending the Evolve title against Babatunde.
Oh my God!
I don't know what that will look like, but I want to see it. Josh Briggs versus Cassius Ohno. That should be very strong. Liam Gray, AR Fox, and Leon Ruff against Eddie Kingston, Joe Gacy, and Colby Carino. Then we have Anthony Gutierrez, Karam, Sean Maluta, and Stephen Wolf. Sean Maluta coming off his USA Network exposure on Wednesday night. Anthony Green versus Brandon Taggart versus Kurt Stallion, and Daniel Garcia, representative out of Buffalo, who we got to see SummerSlam weekend. He was up here doing some matches. Then Arturo Huas taking on John Silver, Harlem Bravado versus Adrian Alanis, and then a 4-way freestyle with Shotzi Blackheart, who looked great on that Evolve card over the summer, Natalia Markova, Avery Taylor, and Alex Garcia. So that is the first night, at least. And then the second night has Walter and Cassius Ohno as one of the featured matches. But it's going to be interesting to see how much Evolve kind of gets more of a spotlight now, and everyone expecting it to be absorbed onto the WWE network if people can log in.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, I think we want to get the head start on this so we're super familiar with the product if it does go to the network. So we both did the show over the summer, and I attempted to review the show The Way a couple of weeks ago. But it's great. It's like watching early NXT for me, where you're discovering all these people for the first time, and obviously there is a lot of NXT talent in there. So, and
a big function for it now, because NXT has changed to where the talent that you're just starting from scratch, you don't necessarily want to send them onto the USA Network immediately. You need a place like an Evolve, I think, to send some of this talent. And, the Street Profits working there over the year, I think that's paid dividends. And sending your Arturo Huases of the world over there, there's, having a smaller audience where you can develop, and it's not the best platform to be learning on national television.
Yeah,
no, for sure.
I think Evolve will become like your FCW, your NXT, your developmental, and it's clearly working with a lot of people. Like, they send some people down, and all of a sudden it's like they know how to do everything, and it's like it's really cool to watch, actually. Yeah.
You guys want to take one more call?
Yes.
Sure, let's do it.
We go to Neil. Neil, what's up?
Hi there, guys.
The most soothing voice in the world, Neil, is joining us. How are you, Neil?
Well, I'm blushing. But yes, Neil from Northern Ireland. And
my God.
First and foremost, Braden and Davey, congratulations. I just think it's really, the timing is right, and it's a great thing. I popped on already overnight.
Oh man, thank you.
And I'm on the mid-tier. I'm
you're a North American champion.
North American champion.
From Northern Ireland. That's quite the accomplishment.
You're the Northern Ireland champion. Thank you so much, Neil.
Thank you very much.
all about the North, yeah. But yeah, so no, it's really good, and I hope it grows and grows, and I think it will because it's getting so much exposure now on a cable station.
Yeah, thank you.
In the States. So a quick point on that is that not just in Northern Ireland, but in the south of Ireland and in the whole of the UK, we won't be able to watch the first hour of that show until 1 a.m. tonight. That's not good enough. I had to. What phrase do you guys always use? Alternative means. I had to watch it using alternative means. I
had to Google it. That's what I say. I had to Google it.
Sure, exactly. Yeah, and it was a terrific show. I really enjoyed it. I think that AEW will have their work cut out for them, but they although it's still even now it still hasn't been completely sewn up. AEW is likely to be live in the UK and Ireland. NXT for the time being is going to have a 24-hour delay, and I think that's something WWE should look at. But as John has said before, they're in this on this side of the pond. They're in this kind of lame duck period with WWE with their TV deal with Sky is going to elapse at the end of the calendar year. So there could well be a clause that means Sky aren't going to take up NXT Live, and it may just have to wait until January, and then BT Sports will put it online. But I think that's about it. Yeah, I just wanted to say congrats.
Yeah. No, I think it's going to be a consistent complaint, Neil. That international viewers. You're wired to, if something is available live in one region, people want to be able to watch it live and not wait. And you're going to have people that are going to be going to those means to try and find them. I think that's something like they made this deal, and that's kind of what they're going to have to deal with. And, for international viewers, like that's, an audience that wants to see your product, and they're going to go outside if they have to watch it live. That I think many will be doing.
Yeah. And it's not, it's very unusual because we are used to getting everything live, and the hardcore fans like me will stay up and watch it.
But borders are what's preventing you from watching wrestling. Oh,
yeah,
sad.
Don't talk about borders and Northern Ireland.
Yeah, true. Sorry, mate.
I'm only joking.
Thanks so much for the call, Neil. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, not at all. Thanks, guys. Speak to you soon.
Always great to hear from Neil, checking in with us all the way from Northern Ireland.
Wow.
Which, we're live. We're making this show available to him free.
Yeah,
easily.
Yeah. We let people download whatever country you're from. I love when someone writes in or tweets me and is like, "Yeah, I'm from the Philippines and I listen to you." I was like, "What?" There's a guy who says he learns English because of our show. I'm like, out of all the shows and podcasts, you choose a Brit and a Canadian talking about NXT to use that to help you learn English. But it's just crazy. So
what are some words he's
lit. He says that's lit now, probably every 10 seconds.
He is featured in the video we did with Johnny Gargano.
Yeah, so for our takeover tailgate that we did this SummerSlam past summer, David put together a video with what Gargano and Almas means to you. But we got some friends of the show and some listeners and you guys to join in, and Johnny Gargano. So go check it out on our YouTube.
That was a highlight of my weekend.
Yeah.
BDE official.
BDE official on YouTube. Go look at Johnny Gargano joining our video. But this guy who's
Charbel, he goes, "It's lit. Shirai gets me high."
Yeah, he just starts saying my catchphrases, and it's so funny. So I love it. I love finding listeners from all over the world. So it's so cool.
I thought our last subject before we get out of here. Do we have another call?
I think we do.
Okay, then let's go to the call.
Oh, no, we don't.
Okay, then let's not.
We shall see.
Of shows that are in high demand but are not available to watch, I think that's a perfect segue because starting tonight is Bola from PWG. They're running tonight, Friday, then they're off Saturday, and the finals are Sunday, all taking place at the Globe Theater in LA. So tonight, it's the first round with A-Kid versus Lucky Kid, the Battle of the Kids.
What?
Brody King, not Brody Kid, versus Caveman Ugg. Ray Orus versus Dragon Lee. Black Taurus versus Darby Allin. Artemis Spencer versus John Gresham. Daisuke Sakamoto versus Jeff Cobb. That sounds tremendous. And then a non-tournament match, Joey Janela and Alex Zane, who's got a ton of buzz from GCW, taking on Blake Christian and Tony Deppen, which should be insanity.
What about Joey Janela's gear?
It was stolen. Someone broke into his car and
Someone
stole
his Bola gear. He got fresh new gear for Bola, taken away out of his car.
The guy getting set for full gear has no gear. And then the main event is Flamita and Bandito against the Lucha Bros, Penta and Rey Fenix. That's night one before Friday night. But, I'm curious. I'm always curious with PWG of when they might adjust Bola because I would say even compared to the Super J-Cup recently, I think there's even a higher interest in Bola because of its lineage and it's just one of the biggest tournaments of the year. But, with a lot of the talent they use, it's restricted their ability to do streaming, and they just seem philosophically against the idea of live streaming. Like they are a DVD business that, wants to maintain that, and it works for them, I guess. But at the same time, I think you look at how much potential there is. Like if that show was airing tonight, absolutely I would be watching this show tonight 100%.
Yeah, actually I still find that very strange. Like these are for years these were shows I've always been interested in watching and I never could. So like you could after the fact, but
your interest wanes. Like since the Super J-Cup went up, I watched Ospreay Amazing Red. I haven't watched anything else. It really, I probably won't get back to that.
It's strange. It's like if you have the opportunity to give it to someone, just like airing a show in different countries, stuff like if I'm able to give you money some way or form to get your content from you, it should be that simple.
Especially when there's so much content being fired at you every day now in the week. There's something to watch. I'm not going to watch a tournament from a month ago, no matter how good the matches are, because there's going to be a great match.
Seriously, I think the window is like 24 hours.
Like
even coming out of this weekend, I would love to get back and watch Bloodsport. I'd love to watch that AAA card, but once it's over with, it's like there's a dozen other events coming up, and it's so hard to kind of carve out that time if you're following everything else. So.
Yeah, especially like it doesn't always hurt when you get spoiled. I don't like being spoiled, obviously, like in anything you watch, TV. I spoil David by accident a lot, and he gets mad. By accident. I'll be like,
"Oh, spoil."
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll be like.
I thought you meant like you shower him with gifts or compliments.
No, oh god, no.
Definitely not. We got bubbly last night though, so that was. And it's like, hey, I see on Twitter Jeff Cobb wins Bola last year, and I'm like, cool.
Not gonna watch that now.
Now I don't really need to see that. Yeah. Like, it's just like kind of, I don't know.
It's a promotion that really seems to still cater towards the live audience first and foremost, but. I feel like
I'd love
to
go
make
to
a choice.
That'd be
Me
so
too.
Fun.
That's part of my thing.
Any PWG show.
Hey, I lied. We got one more phone call to close us off. Caller, you are on. What is your name? This guy's been trying to like get out of a. This guy's been trying to get out of an office meeting for the past half hour.
I fucking bet. I knew he's like, whoa, I can't miss this one. It's MJ from NJ. I'm guessing.
4 of my favorite people, 4 of my friends in a room together talking wrestling.
No, MJ, I'm here too.
4. Who'd I miss?
I'm only kidding, MJ. It was not a mathematical joke.
What's on your mind, MJ?
Hey, I'm super proud of the BDE, the experience. Congratulations, long overdue. Davey, can't wait to see you in a few weeks. And
what do we have planned?
Simple.
Yeah, I'm going to New York in a couple of weeks because I need to activate my visa, so I need to leave the country. So
he's gonna go. He's gonna go to NJ.
Hang with MJ.
Not in NJ though.
My one piece of feedback on last night, I don't know what was said prior because I was in this meeting for the last half hour, was the production is next level, and NXT's had 5 years to perfect the production. And I think that makes AEW's work like a lot more difficult to kind of match that because. Last night felt like main roster, main brand, and it'll be interesting to see what AEW looks like now. I didn't know how excited I was for the comparison until I saw last night, and it's like, ooh, I can't wait for 2 weeks from now.
Hey, one question we haven't really discussed, MJ, so I'll throw it to you. How did you feel they handled the lengthier matches where they had to work in commercial breaks? Did you find them to be seamless? Did they interrupt the flow at all for you? How did you think they handled that for the primarily the women's four-way and then later with Roderick Strong and Velveteen Dream?
So the first break they went to, when they came back, they were setting up for the Tower of Doom spot, and it almost looked like they almost pulled it off before coming back from break. So I'm sure somebody's controlling that, right? The ref's probably telling them when we're back from break. I think the performers more than anybody is going to have to get comfortable with that because, again, they go from developmental. This is now like the turning wheels are off. You're on live TV. I'd like to see them do something where they show highlights of what you missed during the break. Like during the break, and they show kind of the picture-in-picture replay. Just because they don't do that on the other shows, and it makes it different. We're not dumb. We know stuff is happening. I think it makes the live experience
Not that much.
like, oh,
Yeah.
there's stuff.
Not that much.
I don't know if much happens.
But maybe in NXT stuff is happening. They set up that whole Tower of Doom spot. That's always like a kind of anticipation of when that's going to happen. So I'd like to see it if there is stuff that they're going to highlight or that they're doing worth a highlight. And I think NXT will have that more than wrestles on the main roster.
Yeah, I think so too. I'm a fan of not having commercials in wrestling. Like if I watch a sport, you don't go to break during a guy's at bat. Like that's how I see it.
What's the alternative, though?
Exactly. It's really hard because look at what Raw's been doing, and I'm like, oh, that actually doesn't work at all either. So it's tough because
2 out of 3 falls every match.
It's like, do you do a bunch of entrances and then right before the bell you go Ryan Seacrest it and go, but after the break, and then you wait and you come back and then the match starts and it could be 25 minutes and then as soon as the match is over you go to break. I don't know. I really don't know. But I think I'm mostly mad at that because I have Michael Cole engraved in my mind when he's like, this match will continue to roll on, and I'm already like over this. NXT didn't really feel like that.
Did anyone comment on Morrow?
Yeah, see, Morrow I didn't get that last night. They were like, "Oh my God, this match is going crazy, but we got to take a break. We'll be back." And then he comes back, and there's a Tower of Doom. I'm like, "This is great. I'm fine with this."
I did feel yesterday though when it was cutting to break that I was missing stuff.
Sure.
It didn't feel like that. Slow down the match, go into a commercial, come back, and slowly pick it up. It felt kind of abrupt.
They used to do the thing with they had an app where you could watch the app during the breaks. You could continue watching the match.
I don't know what the broadcasters like that.
Yeah, true. So, yeah. I don't know. I think they'll deal with it just fine. They seem to be fine with it last night, so I think it'll be okay.
Any final thoughts, MJ, before we run?
Just Morrow is next level. Mauro Ranallo is the best voice in combat sports, and that came through last night. He makes everything feel important. He makes the moves feel memorable. He names them. He gives you backgrounds. He throws in pop culture stuff. And again, 2 weeks from now, we're going to get Jim Ross. That's antiquated.
This is crazy. MJ,
they're going to be very interesting.
You're like a huge AEW guy. Like I know you are.
Oh,
and now I feel like you're a turncoat.
Fanboy.
You're turning on them.
You could be a fan of both.
You know, he's turning.
I'm definitely a fan of both. I like to keep it real. To quote Brother Nate, keep it 100. And I'm going to call it like I see it. And I wish you guys, all 4 of you, infinite success going forward.
Thanks as always for the call, MJ. We appreciate it.
What a guy.
Just on the Morrow note, when Shayna Baszler walked out and within seconds he's dropping the fact that today would have been Billy Robinson's birthday, like the fact that he's just got that nugget of information ready to go. And then when he's talking about Arturo Huas and the influence from Marco Huas, the king of the streets, and then Dunn stomps his foot. And for those unfamiliar, Marco Huas, like that was one of his patented maneuvers was foot stomps in MMA. And Morrow just bursts out laughing about stealing a page from Marco Huas. It was just, I thought those were two very fun. One very funny moment, and the other I was just like, how the hell was he aware that it was Billy Robinson's birthday? But that's that is Morrow for you right there. I was stalling time here because I was hoping that the number would come in here around 4:15, but no number out yet, but we'll have it up on the website as soon as it is out. Me and Wei had discussed our predictions earlier. Higher and lower than 850,000 viewers.
Oh, lower than that, but...
you think lower?
Yeah,
okay.
I still think it'll have a pretty decent number, yeah.
Davey?
I'll say higher then.
All right, one of you
I'm
is
really
going
bad
to be
at
right.
these
Yeah, me too. I don't
All
know.
right, well, guys, let's do one final plug for the Patreon. Where can people go to support you guys, and what is up there now if they go to sign up?
Yes, go to patreon.com/upNXT. Episode 0 is available for all tiers, where we just talk about our history.
It's our origin story.
It's our origin story, yeah.
We talk about the night we met, and it's all because of John Pollock.
Absolutely.
I found out about this myself.
Yes. He doesn't
Davey,
remember.
Is it accurate? You talked to me before you met Braden.
Yeah, I offered you a drink, and you were like, no, talk to this guy.
Wow. Look what I set up. What a matchmaker.
Wow. So really, like, you were like, ooh, I'm going to set up a whole post-wrestling. You were like pre-booking down the line.
I was doing a solid, giving you a drink.
You were. That is legit. He was helping me get lit. That's true.
And then later tonight, we will have the first episode of Was Next available for the North American and the NXT
How are we
World
spelling
tiers.
was?
WAS.
Okay, I thought maybe we're going with like WUZ. You guys were like giving it a certain pronunciation there.
Braden is also on this week's edition of the PWT cast with our friend Scrum.
Yes,
So many friends you've got out there.
Yeah, I mean, the internet and podcasting is just wild. We become friends with Scrump in Chicago, and he's been listening to you guys and us for a long time that he's been studying. And now he has his own podcast.
I know.
Pro Wrestling Tees, you guys have been on it. They talk about really everything in wrestling.
I can't believe how much you guys were able to fit in talking about shirts and your history with
I'm a
shirts.
professional.
I'm not surprised with Braden.
I'm a professional. I know a lot about wrestling T-shirts. Actually, yeah, he asked me for advice, and I said, well, listen, it's a show about pro wrestling tees. That's tough. Our show's niche. That's niche. So just make it more conversational and more fun kind of thing. But he mixes into everything.
I warned him I wasn't going to have much to share on merchandise stuff. So
go listen to that. Me and Scrump are going to start a Brendan Fraser podcast. But then I searched, and there already is one. So we're stuck in limbo there.
The best is the ending to it. I shouldn't even ruin it because it's just hilarious of you correcting him on the origin of Brendan Fraser.
Yeah. I had to step up and teach these younglings about Brendan Fraser. I know a little bit too much. We'll work on that Brendan Fraser Patreon. But for now, yes, you can follow our Patreon. Follow our upNXT Twitter. We just launched it, so we're trying to get our numbers up so we look more official. So help us at upNXT Podcast. And you can find us on Twitter and Instagram and follow all of our stuff. We want to post more, and we're blown away by all the support, and a big shout out to you two, because you've helped us so much, and we just enjoy doing it. So now that sure, we're getting some dollars from it, even if it's just a little bit, it's just cool to us. So thank you guys. Honestly, you guys helped us.
It's been amazing seeing the two of you link up, and then all that you've accomplished in the year and a half that you've been together.
Right,
moving in together.
This is what I like. This is what I wanted when I envisioned this, and it's coming true. So it's just pretty awesome.
It's like a sitcom that would seem almost too cliche.
Well, funny you should say that. In a bar. I got a little too much of the bubbly, and I asked David point blank, I'm like, do you know how to write scripts? Can we make a sitcom out of this? Can we do a sitcom about two guys?
All the best ideas.
Yeah.
No. Hey, are we rebranding to David? Because he always calls you David.
Sorry. No, I call him
I go by whatever.
Yeah,
okay.
I'm really not.
Dragon Dave.
Dragon Dave.
Well, go patreon.com/upnext. Follow them at upNXT Podcast on Twitter. And you can check out upNXT every Thursday morning at postwrestling.com. And you can get their free feed just by subscribing to upNXT. Great to get you guys in here. Thank you for coming all the way over here to the post office. Yes. And that is it. Catch on Friday. Way and I will be back for Cafe members, a review of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. Ooh. Saturday night, Evolve 135 and 136 with Davey Portman and Jesse from the Six. They will have a show up. And then Sunday, we will have a review of Destruction in Kobe.
I've had to rewind this backing track 3 times in a row. So I'm just making sure we don't run out.
That's it. We are done. Goodbye.
We got some breaking news. False start, everybody. We got our own post-credit scene here on the Café Hangout because, John,
1,179,000 viewers for NXT.
Wow!
Holy shit!
Goddamn!
Holy wow! That means we're gonna have a lot more Patreons.
That is huge.
That's great.
What was that number?
One more time.
1,179,000 1,179,000 viewers. Way above what I was expecting.
That's incredible. All right. Anything else?
Wow. What's the October 2nd one gonna look like? Is what I'm interested in. Yeah.
Well, like first week, I think always has like a great deal of curiosity, but especially from this week until the second, I think it'll be huge.
That's amazing. I'm super proud of them for doing that. Good for them, man. Awesome. Crushing it.
Should I play this song again?
Yes. I literally have to run out the door in 2 minutes.
All right. That's goodbye for real now. Thank you, everybody. Bye-bye.